And good morning, everybody. The final day of this weekend USA Cup tournament here on North Metro TV. 5 games on tap for today. The names and the players and the teams will change, but our entire crew and myself, Charlie Beatty, Blythe Whaley, and everybody in the truck and on top of the truck shooting these games will be with you for all 5. We start out at the U17 level. Here we are. More interesting stuff is that way, so we can go back that way anytime we're ready. But this is us. She's Blythe, I'm Charlie, and here we are at USA Cup 2019. You've been here all weekend.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
good
been
stuff
really
so far.
fun, and definitely we've seen a lot of different countries. I mean, Canada was here, Japan was here, and now interesting that both these teams, both native to Minnesota here. So the home roots are coming strong, but I mean, the Fusion team is kind of that Plymouth, Wayzata area, and then here we have their opponent that is coming from just South Minneapolis, so not too far.
Urban Venture Athletics, the team in the dark blue and the white. You saw Fusion select U17 game. Both of these teams with 2 wins out of the first 4 games over the weekend. Only 1 loss between the two. Urban Venture lost 1 game yesterday by the score of 4-1. They start out on the ball, moving it forward. Emil Leiden.
Something that will be interesting too is this Fusion team is a premier team, and so this is their first year in the premier status. But knowing that they're going against this C1 team, it's interesting because you never know that this team next year could be promoted to Premier. So this could be a really close game, but it's just interesting knowing they're coming from 2 different brackets.
Knotted back out of there, knocked down by Fusion. This is Michael Barica. It's a team that's kind of a mishmash, Fusion, here this year, and they lay one across early and miss just wide. A good chance there for Charlie Kasmer. And he might want it back again.
Yeah, certainly having a look that nice early on here would have been coming in clutch to get one on the board this early. But as we see there, just going a little wide, that keeper. Do you think he could have come across if he would have had it on net?
Would have been an excellent save. But it also one of those chances where if you get that thing maybe at 8:30, he puts that in, but it's still very early here for the players as well. We were over there before the game. The players were warming up, and they looked like kids that had played 4 games in 2 days and had gotten up very early this morning.
Yeah, both coaches telling us how tired their players were, and you know, that's what this tournament is on the weekend. It's so condensed, all the games really just back to back, and your legs are certainly feeling it, but some injuries too we've heard on both these teams. Definitely a Fusion having, we see on the bench some players that are permanently out for this tournament just with some injuries that have happened here.
Yeah, you saw the shot a minute ago. There's some street clothes over there. Missing 4 or 5 players. They have a few guest players filling in some of the spots, including their goalkeeper, Jamie Deneen, who is actually moving up a level or 2. He is not a U17 player. Jamie actually a 2004 birthday. Most of these players 2002. This is the other goalkeeper, Carlos Luis.
Some great experience to be able to move up that couple levels and play there. But I know that he has been doing some practicing, trying to see what he can do with Minnesota United as well. So some experience under his belt, even though he has kind of that younger age compared to these guys.
That goes for the whole team as well. They played a tournament earlier this year. They're a U17 team, but they played at the U19 level. That is a big jump up at that age.
Yeah, wow.
Talking about established college players. Here's a chance here for Urban Venture, and a nice sliding challenge by Chandler Merrick out for the throw.
Fun to see those kinds of tackles because obviously you're laying yourself out there, very vulnerable.
Leon for the touch there from Iver Soto, number 6. There's a curler, and Leon puts one wide. So both teams have had a good opportunity here early in the game. Just about 3.5 minutes gone.
Yeah, I know we talked about how tired these players are, but being able to have a couple of these quick opportunities, I mean, this game could be a lot different if one of these teams would have netted those.
That would have been an early highlight goal. We've seen pretty quality play in the attacking third. Just haven't seen the finish yet for these two. for joining us here on North Metro TV. Third day of coverage, and of course, this is just the start. We got the week-long tournament as well. We'll be here all week. Opening ceremonies Tuesday night, which I know you'll be a part of.
Yeah, they're always fun, and it's something that I feel like everyone who attends these tournaments looks forward to. It's just that excitement, bringing everyone together.
And it's a little quiet here right now because the weekend tournament is a bit smaller, but once you get into that week-long tournament, it's just players moving every direction. Parking lot's full, there's activities out there, and there's always people taking advantage. I noticed the big pool they have there, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a popular spot this week as it heats up.
Oh, it was funny because in the pool, actually, it was huge, like blow-up balls, and the kids were inside the ball, so I don't even think they were getting wet.
I've seen that before. Yeah, I saw that at the State Fair one year, and it's interesting to watch. Nobody knows how to move in those things, so it's just people falling down inside these inflatable balls. So give it a shot if you're here this week and you make a fool out of yourself.
And make a video for sure, post it, let us know.
We can get some of that. I'll be here back Friday, and I'll take my turn. Put my money where my mouth is. Long throw here coming up for Fusion. Toward the edge of the box and knotted back out of there, and trying to turn and clear is Alejandro Becerra. And he is sandwiched in the early whistle, and Becerra losing a piece of his equipment. One of the players was, anyway.
It's funny, it almost feels like he didn't realize he did.
Not sure exactly what that was. If it's a
tape?
It was just a piece of tape.
Oh, is USA Cup.
Ah, it is. It's the wristband the players get for the tournament.
Those are tough to come off. I'm surprised.
And I don't know if they give you another one, so I'm not sure if he can still be here. Long ball all the way through to Deneen.
We'll see the USA Cup tops come and take them off.
Yeah, here come the police. Unable to run it down on the far side is Matthew Hudson. The noisemakers are out. Some of the Urban Venture fans, you can hear that. We could hear it strongly in our ears, but there's some good atmosphere.
I was hoping it wasn't just me, to be honest. I was like, am I hearing things?
You're not losing it. Not because it's 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's the Urban Venture crowd trying to liven things up. Out of South Minneapolis. And as Blank mentioned, Fusion from the Plymouth area. So a couple of local teams that will not stand all day long. We're going to see some teams from around the country, around the world. Through ball there looking for Leiden.
That was actually the club that I used to play for. They merged with the Wayzata area team as well. But so I played with PSA when that was a thing, the Plymouth Soccer Association. And then, of course, all these youth teams merging and getting bigger and expanding their talent pool to pull players from. And so now this Fusion team has come about. Coach some levels over there too as well, and definitely have some talent.
Strong challenge there, and the foul goes against Miguel Salas Rea. One of the Fusion players down there, that's Hudson. Pops right back up. Fusion coaching staff doesn't want to see any more injuries. Brett Day was talking to us before the game. He said, yeah, I'm missing 5 players in a short tournament. There's Brett walking away there in the hat. Hudson's ball straight into the wall. Scramble down on the far side by Becerra, who's able to turn it upfield. Just under 8 minutes gone here in our opening game.
They're going to keep us awake with the noisemakers, so that's good.
This is what soccer is supposed to be. Just have a rule when I played in high school, we would go support the girls team, they would come support us, and everybody would bring an instrument. The only rule was you had to bring an instrument you didn't know how to play.
Oh, perfect.
So it was horrible, but it was loud. It was a lot of fun.
That's so funny. But I like that you say that, is oftentimes, you know, those high school teams, the men and women's teams really do support each other. I feel like I found that a lot in soccer, just kind of the camaraderie between the two.
Everybody's kind of in the same boat. You only have the one field to practice on, so you have to share it, so you're all in the same place. And knotted away by Charlie Miller. Brought down by Becerra, and good defensive work done by Fusion, and they try to bring it ahead. Looking over the top for Kasmer. That one, a nice athletic play there by Luis, although he didn't hold it in. That's going to be a corner. The assistant referee actually dropped his flag on the side, so the call was a little late, but it will be a corner for Fusion. Moving over to take it will be Hudson as you get a good look at Carlos Luis. Both coaches said the goalkeeping solid, and at this level, goalkeeping can be kind of a grab bag. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's just a volunteer. But both of these keepers are very good. And Luis trying to punch that one out, did just get it right around the post as he had to come out of a huge crowd. Didn't have the best angle on the ball, but he made the play. So we'll re-rack it and do this all again. About 7 players right on the goal line. You can see it there, and the ball drifted toward the back post, and that's going to curl around everybody.
It's always tough. You want to capitalize on those set pieces, those ones that you really can predict a lot more of what's going on, but hopefully they get another opportunity for a corner kick to kind of actually put something on net.
Swung wide now for Soto. Hustling over is Aaron Zhang to try to cut him off, and he's able to turn the possession back the other way, but given right back again. Down the line for Leiden. Defended there nicely by Jacob Fisher for Fusion. Miguel Leon had the best chance so far for Urban Venture Athletics. Yet to have a shot on target, but his curler wasn't far off, and it really would have been a goal that we probably would have been replaying all day had it gone in.
Yeah, true, because of course we're accustomed to soccer. Not all games are very high scoring, so if you're able to net one, it might be the only.
Especially in a game like this where it's the 5th of the tournament. Legs might be dragging a little bit.
I know, I feel like those are the ones that can go either way. Either you're going to have a lot of goals because the defense is super tired and both teams are scoring a lot, or you're going to be pretty stagnant and not able to get any on the board.
Very active. You saw Luis come out of his goal there and clear it away. Actually took out the corner flag this time. That corner's, we've seen a dropped flag for the assistant referee. The corner flag just took it.
Yeah, flags are having a real issue in this.
It's not that windy. You'd think it would be a nice day for them, but now they got to figure out how to put it back together. As you see one of the USA Cup staffers here alongside Parker Voida. He'll float one, an outswinger toward the back post. That's knotted down and in, but a whistle away from the ball and a shove right around the edge of the 6-yard box, and that will be wiped out. So there you go. Fusion did give themselves a chance. Very good ball by Voida, but the foul in the action leading up to the header, and we're still scoreless.
And that's kind of what you would expect to see, not necessarily this call right now, but I'm just talking about when a corner is coming in, your team, you should know where that ball is going to go. I mean, depending on the consistency of that person who's taking the corner kick, but those are the pieces that if you are able to have that opportunity, I mean, you're looking at a great shot on net. And we saw that header, of course, go into the goal, but unfortunately taken back.
Yeah, you can't take the goal for granted, but you want to at least give yourself the chance. Make sure that ball is playable for those that are waiting for it. That one was. Fusion's had most of the possession so far. Herbalites say they are the premier team, so playing at a slightly higher level, theoretically, that doesn't always mean much. When you have that designation, you would expect that team maybe to control the play a little bit more. So far, they have. Chandler Merrick now. Down the line, a little too much on it for Kasmer. And a goal kick for Urban Venture.
we've been talking the last few days, just how manicured this field is. So that ball really does roll. And so depending on what fields they're used to playing on, if it's thicker grass than this, it's certainly going to be an adjustment.
And as you can see, you can almost tell just by looking at the player's shoes how much of the shoe you can see. This grass is cut basically like tabletop. We were just walking on it, and the ball is going to move quickly. All the way back for Deneen this time. And it looks in great shape, especially having been used for a few days, all day long. The area in front of the goals, as it always is a little bit more cut up with the goaltenders walking that path all day, but most everything else, the grass is still there and in excellent shape. Credit to the National Sports Center staff here charged with keeping these fields up. That is not an easy job, especially with how many there are. I mean, this is field 60.
That's true. There are quite a few.
It goes a ways off to the right and a little bit off to the left as well. So a shot there, the Urban Venture Athletics bench. Isidro Rojas, the head coach in the red shirt. Said he's been working with these players for a lot of years. This team has stayed together for a long time.
Something that was interesting too is just a few years ago when this team played in the tournament, actually getting silver in the week-long one. So just knowing that there's some players on here who have experienced some good success at the USA Cup, and knowing that they're excited to be back and kind of have that experience again.
And it sounds like it's been mostly the same group too. You don't often get that level of cohesion at the youth levels. Players get shuffled around, maybe move to different clubs, different levels. But these, this Urban Venture team has been together for a while. That ball did go out. Get our first subs of the game for Fusion. So Alejandro Becerra there trying to keep that ball in play in the corner. Parker Voido, one of the players subbed out. He was the player who set up that goal that was disallowed for Fusion with an excellent corner. 17th minute here, scoreless between Urban Venture Athletics and Fusion SC Select. And a throw in here for Becerra and Urban Venture on that far side.
And something to note too is just this game being as early as it is, heat isn't going to play a factor. So for them, just kind of nice to have this one as early as it is. I mean, yes, you're rubbing your eyes, making sure you're awake after how tired you are from the days prior, but just knowing that you kind of have the premier weather at this point, because it's only going to get hotter from here.
Yeah, this is the time slot you want. No weather concerns, no worries about potential storms as the heat comes in. No, that's a possibility for later today. We hope it doesn't happen. And the officials, of course, will monitor the heat as well. If the games necessitate any kind of water breaks, they'll institute those as the days go on. Usually those come from the tournament central. Foul there called against Miguel Leon.
Yeah, that only happened in the last game we were broadcasting yesterday. Water breaks started to come into play. So we'll see, like you said, as the day moves on, what needs to happen and adjust to this weather.
Charlie Miller starting it up, and short layoff for Peter Melquist. Decent ball toward the top of the box, landing near the penalty spot.
That's something that I like when they do off of a set piece, kind of just that angle difference. Barely passed it over to his teammate, but that angle coming in now, the defense has to adjust.
And they'll get a chance to maybe do that again here, as that time the foul goes against Emil Leiden. Took down Kasmer. And Miller will set it up one more time. Has help nearby from Fritz Kramer. Now it's Kramer who will step over the ball. 2 in the wall here for Urban Venture, but that's not where the action's going to happen. This ball will be played across. Get a good look at the gaggle of players on the far side. Not the best ball there, but it's going to come right back to him. Stumbling as he went into the box there. Maybe got his feet tied up a little bit with Moises Morales. It did look like Kramer had a chance to run onto that ball, and all of a sudden he went tumbling down.
Yeah, I feel like it's tough. As a referee, you don't want to have to make that call when you're inside the box there, so you're really trying to wait it out. How tough was that? Did they just kind of get tripped up, or was it intentional?
Kramer back on it, lays it off now for Chris Paulson. Kramer making things happen, and now here's another chance, and an excellent stop by Carlos Luis. Coming out to challenge. Be another corner for Fusion, but they're starting to knock on the door here. Here's this ball, excellent layoff, and the shot came from Michael Barica. Well, both coaches said solid goalkeeping. We see an example of it there. Fritz Kramer over the corner, this time from the far side. In swinger on the right foot. Dangerous ball to the back post and headed off the line. That ball still in play. And then eventually rolled out of there by Charlie Miller. I believe that was Cesar Salgado on that back post who saved the day, number 49. Look at another look at it here off the corner. It was Salgado, exactly where he's supposed to be at that back post, making the play.
Almost identical corner kick to the one that we saw actually go into the back of the net.
Trying to counter here, Urban Venture. They've been pushed further and further back as this first half has gone along. As the Premier side has really kind of asserted its will here a little bit. Fusion. Substitution coming on as you see Cedro Rojas holding his hands out. His team wasn't substituting, and it's their throw. Sometimes I have seen that in the tournament.
Yeah.
International referees don't necessarily abide by that rule. Handball called there against Leiden. Taken quickly, and now Kramer.
Again, just showing the ability to have that confidence in their goalkeeper here, passing that one back. Oftentimes there can be a really good goalkeeper, but you do not trust them to be able to make that play backwards.
We've seen Luis out playing kind of that sweeper keeper mentality, clearing balls outside the box. So clearly he trusts his feet. Looks like his teammates do too.
And just how valuable that is, because that goalkeeper just has that vision of the entire field, and so if you are able to pass it back, he's going to most likely make a play just having that vision and able to see who's open.
Can change the entire way your team plays when you have 11 players out there who can handle the ball, be part of it. That's really kind of a new thing in soccer all over the world over really the last maybe 30 years. Really since goalkeepers couldn't pick the ball up anymore once you passed it back to them. Throw in here for Urban Venture as Leiden's shot was charged down. Approaching the 24-minute mark in our first half. Substitutions here for both teams behind the play, so that's the hold up here for Alejandro Becerra. return ball goes back to Fusion as they just can't quite get it linked up in that final third here. Urban Venture having trouble getting the possession going here in the last maybe 10 minutes or so.
Something that's good about these tournaments is putting players in the position to be exhausted and kind of at that end of their rope, and having to still be able to finish and play those games, because you never know when you're coming into the seasons here, both these teams being Minnesota teams. Their school team will be coming up here this fall, and you get into an overtime situation where you need to be able to still compete at a high level when you are this exhausted. So these tournaments, when you're putting players through the ringer a little bit to still get a result, is obviously helpful.
And these are shorter games than players are normally used to playing, but still, when you play 5 times in 3 days, you still have to stretch 5 times. You got to get ready 5 times. Here's another opportunity, and they finally break through. Fusion is on the board. And it was Barica, the player who was denied on the doorstep 3-4 minutes ago, finished it off. But a great team move there, set up by Voida. So after 25 minutes or so of knocking on the door, Fusion finally able to bust through here, and Voida just barely kept that ball in play. And there you see the finish from Barica. Very similar area to where he was just stopped. We talked about Parker Voida. There's John Voida. We all know here at North Metro TV. That's his father here watching. Parker's set up 2 very good chances. 1 goal that was called back and 1 that counts for that guy, Michael Barica. Now this will be interesting now because Urban Venture trailing, and they'll have to push forward a little bit here. Their midfield line is almost on top of their defensive line right now. They've been playing as almost a 7-man pack. They're going to have to stretch that out a little bit.
Yeah.
That might change this game up quite a bit. Back on the ball again, Fusion. Aaron Zhang with the long ball for Voida to chase again.
And something too, like as they just go down 1 here, just knowing that there's still so much time in this game. Yes, you don't want to go into halftime down 1, but it's not multiple goals at this point. It's still just the 1, so being able to tie this up, they had that opportunity here earlier on in this game. Maybe have another
that
surge
shot
coming out of
shows you, though, the gap between the midfield and the forwards for Urban Venture. Might need to tighten that up if they want to try to push forward and get some offensive possession.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Takeaway there by Daniel Arroyo. He'll feed Becerra. And that will be a goal kick. Nicely defended back there by Miller. So just a couple minutes remaining in this first half. Fusion with the late goal here in the half by Michael Barica off the feed from Voida. And again, they've had multiple chances. The one excellent save by Luis. They had the goal called back on the foul on the corner. And the ball saved off the line on another corner, so they've really been pushing. They certainly deserve the one they've gotten, Fusion.
Yeah, that's something also that's tough about soccer is you can have all those opportunities compared to another team, but still the scoreboard doesn't always show really what has happened in the game. Because easily, I mean, if that one didn't go in, I mean, this one could have went to halftime here 0-0.
I'm always amazed by people who think that there are a lot of upsets in soccer. It's such a sport that luck plays a big part. You can play very well, but if you're not finishing and somebody else gets a lucky bounce off a set piece or something like that, all of a sudden, a team that isn't necessarily the favorite takes a 1-0 win away. And it happens all the time, especially at the international level. You see it, and yet still people are shocked by this. It amazes me.
Well, yeah, that transition, I mean, oftentimes, too, you see everyone go up for a corner kick and then kind of just getting that lucky break.
I believe that was called as a handball on the far side of the field. Of course, you can't take advantage of the set pieces if you're not getting them. We haven't seen Urban Venture have any yet. And that will be the end of the first half. You see that last replay there, but the whistle goes. Blythe is going to head down. Coaches here, it is 1-0 Fusion. Team that is 2-0-2 in this tournament. Urban Venture 2-1-1, but Fusion, the team that is the premier team, playing at the slightly higher division, showing it in this first half. And the goal from Michael Barica 25 minutes in has separated the two teams here on Field 60 at the USA Cup, our final day of coverage on the weekend. We will step aside, come back, and have some of our halftime festivities here. 1-0 Fusion over Urban Venture on North Metro TV.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Dixie Blue Barbecue and Blade. Some of the best barbecue you've ever tasted. Let us cater your next corporate or family event.
And welcome back here to Field 60 at the USA Cup. Charlie Beatty here, Blythe Whaley over there with a couple of players who have made the difference here in the first half for Fusion. Blythe?
Here with Fusion, a couple of these players, Michael Barica and Parker Voida, both of them obviously contributing to this 1-0 halftime score. So Michael, we're going to start with you, getting that goal finally. I know you had one close one earlier on. How does that feel to set your team up for success here in this one?
I mean, it definitely feels really good because, we haven't scored that many goals this tournament, so to get one in the first half really, puts the nail in the coffin, and hopefully we can go on and get the win from here with that goal.
So how are you feeling? I know this has been a long road, having 4 games prior to this one. How are the legs doing? How are you holding up?
I mean, we're definitely pretty tired, but the adrenaline of scoring the goal is definitely helping in. We're, feeling pretty good actually right now.
Yeah, well, hopefully this one can contribute to some more on the board here, but thank you so much. We're going to come over to you, Parker. So, Parker, you have had some awesome corner kicks and different things, so be able to feed this one, get the assist. What are you looking to do as this game continues?
The guy on the outside is pretty beatable, so I just try to get wide and cut in, then find my man, Mr. Barica, but just like repeating all game and stuff, just hard work and hustling and stuff.
What has been kind of the coach's mindset here coming into this one? What has he told you guys to help get this one done?
Well, this is technically our last day of the season or whatever, so he said just 2 more games and then we can celebrate, you know, so I'm just trying to get that W or whatever.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Hopefully you're able to get the W like Coach said, but back to you up there, Charlie.
Thank you, Blythe. From the son to the father. Excellent first half for Parker Voida. And, of course, setting up the only goal in the first half. And you saw Michael Barica there as well. And future generations of USA Cup players with noisemakers on the sideline, providing the atmosphere here, the Urban Venture fans. Let's take a look at some highlights from that first half, and most of them at the Fusion end. This is the big save by Carlos Luis. That kept it scoreless for a while. And then the second big save, this one came off the head of Cesar Salgado. Or pardon me, actually it was Adrian Andrade who actually made that save on the corner. But here's the goal, as Voida able to roll it across, and Barica on the end of it, finishing with the left foot to put Fusion up 1-0, a team that is 2-0-2 in this tournament. And as you heard Michael say, they haven't scored as many goals as they would like, but they've got one here in the first half. And at halftime, anybody can take the field here on field 60. And they don't actually have to be human to do so. We've got young children, we've got dogs, we've got everything. And it's only a little before 9 o'clock here, just getting started on this Sunday afternoon. Final day of the weekend tournament. Blythe is getting her sprints in. She's back here already.
I know, right? We got to time me next time. See how quick I can do it.
Pretty quick. That's my very informal, unscientific breakdown. You got here very quickly. So
well,
Michael,
I mean, I ran track as well, so I mean, we'll do the 50-yard dash
next time. This is about a 70-yard
time.
field width-wise,
know,
maybe not,
right?
maybe 60. So
I know,
yeah,
yeah,
there you
right?
go.
So
here we are. Back.
what are we thinking?
I never
5
moved out of
seconds?
this chair.
Oh yeah.
That's my workout.
The real workout, yeah.
For the morning.
I know.
These
Sometimes
players,
that's tough too, you know, just to sit here.
Yeah, and there are donuts over there, so I'll run to those after the game is over.
I know. The donuts always, just in general, after any race or anything, they're always good. So
there
can't
you see
complain.
some of the musical instruments that have been brought by the Urban Venture fans here, making it feel a little bit more like a soccer atmosphere this morning. So thank you to them.
I know, like I said, it livens it up for being this early, you know, to have something like that. I feel like you don't normally get that at 8 in the morning.
You don't. Some people don't want to get that at 8 in the morning, but
that's
we
true.
need it.
Yep.
Keep everybody awake, keeps our crew awake. Long weekend for them in the heat. Friday and Saturday, and again today. But providing all these great shots for you here on North Metro TV as we continue to cover the USA Cup weekend tournament. And we'll have the week-long tournament as well. And we will step aside for just a second. When we come back, that team will take the field. We'll have the second half as well. 1-0 Fusion SC over Urban Venture on North Metro TV.
Pecorino, Campidoglio, vino rosso, vino bianco, cappuccino, rigoletto, cannelletto, saccomano. Vaporetto, Portofino, Leonardo, Amaretto, Marco Polo, Parmigiano, Caravaggio, Arlecchino. Allegretto ma non troppo piano, piano, Bardolino. Viva, 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 viva l'Italia, viva l'Italia, viva, 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 viva l'Italia che mi va.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Both teams back out on the field now, and our official just joining the action as well. So we're ready for half number 2, Fusion SC Select and Urban Venture Athletics. And there is the flag. We saw this yesterday. You guys saw this yesterday. He's back.
Another thing, adding to just the fun of the tournament. Love that.
Well, everybody who knows soccer knows a little bit about Brazil and how much they love the sport there. And this official certainly carrying that on. Of course, Brazil just winning the Copa America on the men's side. I want that car. There's 2 of them, so you can have the other one.
Okay.
I feel like game 2, we need to do a mobile broadcast from those cars.
That'd be so fun. No, I was saying that why aren't those carts full of things like ice cream? And they should be handing them out.
I think you're onto something.
I think we need to send in a anonymous tip.
Imagine shopping it with something like that. You could stock up for the month.
Yep. That's true. It'd be like if Paul Bunyan went to.
Back to live action. Defensive work on the far side by Peter Melquist. Urban Venture Academy with a half an hour to try to get one back here. They have just the 1 loss in the tournament. And Boyda back the other direction for Fusion. Crossfield ball here. That one might check up, and Luis able to get to it before Barica could. Good first half, though, for the Urban Venture goalkeeper. Had the 1 big save, had 1 punch out on a corner where he had to come out of a pretty big crowd of not only his defenders, but about 5 or 6 attackers as well. Not much he could do about the 1 goal to win it.
I know. So it's tough. I can't imagine. I never was a goalkeeper, nor do I regret that decision, but have a lot of respect for those who want to and those who do, because it is tough. I mean, just that 1 goal, you've saved it how many times, but then the 1 slips through.
It's the one you remember. I was a goalkeeper way back when, and yeah, you could make 15, 16 saves, and you let 1 in, even if you won 5-1, you think about the 1 all night. It doesn't make any sense. Barica with the crossfield balls, he was upended. Andrade will try to chase that down. It's a throw in, though, for Urban Venture Athletics. Trying to get out of their own half of the field here in this second half. They, too, have some banged-up players. Both of these teams feeling the injuries a little bit. And it's not just from this tournament. It's the whole season.
Yeah.
As you heard Parker say, this is the end of the season. But they've been playing in tournaments. This Fusion team, we were told before the game, actually had a chance to play in Las Vegas. They also played in Indianapolis earlier this year.
It's fun when you get to travel and see different things. I mean, both these teams, like I said, being from Minnesota. So this tournament isn't one of those that they're picking to go out of state. But when you do have that opportunity, like a lot of these teams who are coming to the USA Cup, it is just a fun thing. It adds to the team
Chance
aspect.
here for Kasmer as he cuts it across Luis. Boy, did he read that one well. Here's the last chance for Kasmer. Good explosion. And how about Luis? Playing his angles very nicely, cutting off the cross. Yeah, you were just talking about teams traveling, and sometimes when you're a Minnesota team, one of the biggest tournaments, of course, youth tournaments, is here. This is it. And it's one that almost you take for granted that you'll play in, but that means you don't necessarily go somewhere else. You might have 1 fewer trips than maybe other teams would. So when you do get a chance to go out of state as a Minnesota team, it's always fun. Did you have a location that you went to that was a favorite when you were a youth player?
Colorado was pretty fun, more so because we did the whitewater rafting team bonding event after the tournament. That was pretty cool.
Made that exact same trip.
Oh, really?
With a soccer team, yeah.
It's so fun. Like I said, it adds to that extra bonding time with your team, and you're getting to do other things besides just soccer and kind of hanging out for that amount of time you're there.
Substitutions coming on here for Urban Venture. Free kick for Charlie Miller once again. Does have Chandler Merrick with him. Everybody else is at the edge of the box. High header, and that's grabbed easily by Luis. Pardon me, that was Peter Melquist who was over the ball for that one. 33, not 13, and Melquist trying to run it down along that far side. Fusion still very much in control of the events here.
Kind of how it would look on paper, that we would expect that.
They've got that section of the field almost to themselves right there between the forwards and the midfielders for Urban Venture. Ball sprayed off target. Daniel Arroyo coming across to take the throw. It drops down very nicely here for Leon. Trying to play it across, looking for Becerra. That was at least a half an opportunity for Urban Venture. They might have to create a goal out of a solid individual effort here. They just don't have a lot of bodies forward.
And I feel like that is something that is interesting, you know, as coaches determining formations or what have you before the game, and those adjustments coming out of halftime sometimes, but it doesn't seem that they have changed too much.
Barica is onside here, and that one's going to be wiped out as the player and goalkeeper collided. Luis is down. Barica trying to argue that he got the ball first, but the official saying it was the elbow. And meanwhile, Luis is still on the turf. So Fusion thinks they should have a goal, but right now Urban Venture is just worried about their goalkeeper. These teams don't bring at least listed backup keepers to the tournament.
So yeah, it would be a field player stepping back there, maybe not had very many reps at all in net if something like that would happen.
The hope here for Luis is that he just got the wind knocked out of him, and the way they're working on him might actually be the case, trying to get the breath back. You see the official in the foreground there lifting his leg up to indicate he thought that it was dangerous play by Barica. Just another look at it. We'll hopefully get one soon. So the end of the play, there it is. He did get the ball first. I have to be honest with you, even as a former goalkeeper, I didn't see a whole lot wrong with that. He got there first. The foot wasn't high. Luis actually kind of jumped into it. I can see Barica's complaint, but safety is paramount. He's going to get another chance straight away, and there's no debating that one as Voida and Barica set it up again. Almost a carbon copy of the goal that did count in the first half, and now it's 2-0.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, at halftime when we were talking to him, just that is who he's looking for to send that one across. So fun to see them connect on yet another goal today.
See Voida just using his height there. And another tap in. Well, he might feel like he should have a hat trick, but how rare is it to see a player get a chance, another chance, so soon after having a goal called back?
Yeah, it depends. Today. Some players, you know, will kind of sulk in that and be upset that it didn't go their way. And other players, it makes them that much more eager to get that one right away, as we see here today.
Of course, we basically meet these players about 15 minutes before you do. We don't necessarily get a chance to ask them what their dominant foot is, but if he's not left-footed, he's got a strong left foot because he's got 2 goals with the left today. Two for number 2. A goal kick here for Jamie Deneen, who's been mostly a spectator today for Fusion. Whistle and another player down in the midfield as Miguel Salas Rea, I think, got another high boot. Not a foul, I guess, just a drop ball. He was more concerned about the injury than he was if there was an infraction. Given straight back to Fusion SC. Well, Leon, who had that one good chance early in the game for Urban Venture, he looks like the most likely to kind of unlock this Fusion defense, but Right now, this belongs to the boys from Plymouth.
Yeah, and if you're Urban Venture, I mean, you don't want to go down 3-0. So what are you going to do to net one on the board and keep this one close?
Foul along the far side of the field. Long ball aimed towards Voida. And a small shove there goes against the Fusion player. About 20 minutes left in this one. See what Urban Venture can come up with. Not a lot of flow to the game right now, as we've had a lot of whistles and fouls here in the last few minutes, really, since the goal. Here's the latest one. Matthew Hudson taken down on that play. Good work being done down the far side of the field, and that one sliced out of play. Fisher over to take the throw for Fusion. Up 2-0, 2 goals from Michael Barica.
And like you said, just about 3. In our books, it feels like 3.
Very possibly. Could have been 3, yeah. And again, if safety of the players, especially when you play 5-6 games in a weekend, wasn't such a mandate, that goal might have counted.
Yeah.
Because he did get the ball first. It was close. Official, again, doesn't have the ability to look at it again like we do.
I know, and in some cases, you're happy that that's the case. If it's going your team's way.
If you're the goalkeeper, you're very happy that it's the case. And if you're the goalkeeper's parents, they want to see their son or daughter at these tournaments take some spikes to the midsection.
Oh, I just meant, there was a game before that the ball bounced off my hand and went into the net. So very glad that there wasn't a replay for that one. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be called the other way. I was like, this is shocking, but glad.
It happens.
It's kind of what it is. I mean, it goes both ways. The referee's going to make some good ones, make some that maybe were questionable, but they did what they could in that moment, and it went both ways.
Yeah, VAR has not made its way down to the USA Cup yet. Give it 10 years, we'll see. It'll be everywhere. Robot referees and VAR.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Another
I can
foul
see it
there.
though.
You saw
the
the jersey
sideline.
pull. Yep. Another dangerous chance, another good save, just parried away by Luis. That was off the header from Jacob Fisher. That's one thing we haven't necessarily talked about, is that Fusion is a team that has the height advantage out here today. Most noticeably the player on the ball right now, Voida. But some of those aerial balls, they certainly have a lot of players who can attack them. As Barica able to ride one sliding challenge across and to the head of Voida. They try to set one up in reverse here, and I think Voida was thrown off just a little bit by the head that was on the ball just before his. Here's that last free kick. Another excellent ball. The setups today for Fusion have been right on. Long ball aimed towards Charlie Kasmer, but too far for him.
And I feel like when you're up 2-0, you can make some of those risky
One more
plays.
look at it. This is a great angle. Tough save with that ball bouncing just in front of Luis. He has continued to be impressive. That's the thing when you have a team that you get the goalkeeper who is playing for the team that is defending all game. They really do get a chance to shine because they're going to get opportunities. We have barely talked about Deneen at the other end.
Yeah.
Because all he's done is take goal kicks today. That's the life of a goalie sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you like to see that happen for your team because you want to win, but also you kind of want to be the hero and have made at least a couple saves.
Goalies, they'll get their chances to be heroes. I'm sure that Jamie doesn't mind a game, I don't want to say a game off here because he's certainly part of it, but where the workload is a little bit less. Just about 15 minutes to go in this one. And really since that second goal, kind of killed some of the life from this game. We've had a lot of stoppages since then, so haven't quite had the rhythm we had in the first half. Throwing in the far corner here for Fusion. You made the comment that you might see Urban Venture change things up formation-wise. We really haven't seen them do that.
And sometimes you feel like you have, that's like, this is your strongest formation. We want to keep this, even if it isn't necessarily putting you in the lead, but kind of worried to switch things around and maybe things could get out of hand if your team doesn't adjust to that positioning, if you haven't really worked on that. I was talking about it yesterday. My college team played with 3 up top and definitely more on the attack, and then would transition if we were able to get some in the net early on back to not having 3 up top. But it just kind of depends what your style is and if you feel like you can get some in the net with who your forwards are.
Voida trying to take on 2 or 3 defenders there. Didn't have a lot of help. The long ball through, and hustling after that one was Becerra. Team's starting to stretch the field a little bit. Play some more long balls here. This has been more of a possession style game. Which you don't always see at the youth levels. It is nice to see, and there's a good chance, and just off the outside of the frame of the goal, and it was Miguel Leon. We talked about him being the guy that might do it.
Something interesting too, Urban Venture giving the ball, you know, to the keeper here, but it's kind of because they know time is ticking. They're down 2 goals, and yes, I'm sure he still would have done it, but just with the pace that he passed that one to get it to the goalie, hey, get this ball back in play. We want to have our time on the clock.
Good shot of that last chance. It was an excellent dipping shot. Deneen basically just watched it, hoping it would go wide. That would have made the last 10, 12 minutes here a little more interesting. Solid footwork there from Gavin Peterson trying to go around the 2 defenders. And all the way back down to the Fusion goalkeeper again. Back the other way now comes Peterson. In looking for Voida and just didn't get the whip on the header. Well, he was all alone there. He'd like that one back, as you see. He's frustrated. Trying to angle this to the far post. Another good high cross. See, he knew it right away. Xiong taken away by Arroyo. Back to Leon, who's had a strong game. The chances that he's had, nearly had 2 highlight reel distance goals. Just missing on both. Be a very different game if either one of them had gone in. Xiong Barica on the overlap. That ball through and almost miskicked a little bit in the middle by Jan Palacko, the central defenders. It'll be a corner. We approach the final 10 minutes.
And Bedoya not taking the corner kick on this one. He's actually out there trying to put a head on it.
On the other end of it. And that one deflected out by Urban Venture. So we'll do it all over again. This time it's Gavin Peterson on the corner, but he's the biggest target out there.
True.
You'd think you'd want him in the middle.
Yeah, I actually, you say that, I'm surprised he was taking any earlier.
This one driven in low. And cleared away eventually that time by Brandon Ariza. Dealt with by the Fusion defense. Peterson wrestling there with Ariza, and the foul goes against Fusion. A push called against Fusion again, this time on Charlie Miller. So a set piece opportunity here for Urban Venture. They haven't had many of these, but this one's in a spot where they might be able to try to set something up. It'll be Leon over the ball. And again, they don't have a lot of targets forward. Fusion's been bringing the entire roster up there to the edge of the box. And some early movement from the wall, I think.
Yeah, like you said, this one being as close in as it is definitely has that high percentage of maybe getting something on the board here.
Seen what Leon can do shooting from distance. His last opportunity was from not that much farther in than this. Did look like the ball that he just played, which he's going to do again, was more of a cross. Aiming for that back post again, and just in between the goalkeeper and his on-rushing attackers.
Those opportunities are tough to see slip through your fingers, just not being able to have that connection at least. Getting a shot on goal, even if it was saved, but just to have that one roll out of bounds is sometimes tough to see.
Especially when you haven't had that many opportunities like that through the course of a game. And Jamie Deneen with a 2-0 lead, in no hurry here with 7 minutes left. First of 5 games for us here on North Metro today. And this is just the start with the week-long tournament coming up a couple days from now.
Yeah, this is just the preview. What
Yeah,
it's
right.
be like.
This is the sizzle reel, and then we get to the main event. Here is the main event today. Barica with 2 goals. Gonna drop back more into a midfield role since he scored that second one. Leon with a little bit of space now for Urban Venture. Not a bad ball across, but nobody there to meet it. Fritz Kramer now. Blasted forward towards Voida. Nice clever turn there by Ever Soto on the far side. Skills there for Urban Venture, and again, playing against a very good team here this afternoon, or this morning. Headed down by Ryan Christie, number 36, into the game for Fusion. Good step by him, and he's going to try his luck from about 40 yards. Leon trying to touch that one on through. He and Becerra up there on their own, trying to make it happen. Substitutions both ways before this throw-in as we've entered the final 5 minutes here on North Metro. Charlie Beatty, Blythe Whaley here for you all day long. Don't get sick of us because
exactly.
you're stuck with us. Foul in the corner goes against Fusion.
I feel like it's interesting. I mean, as these last 5 minutes roll out, can kind of see a little bit of a drop of intensity, but yet on this play, maybe we'll see a spark. But it's tough. I mean, Fusion knowing you're up by 2. Had a long way to go to get here.
And we will see another Fusion team in our second game. This is the 2001 team. We'll see the Select 2000 team in game 2, the U19 level against Rudbeckianska, Swedish outfit that's here every year, I believe. We just had our picture taken by one of their fans.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. A little distracting, but I liked it. It was fun. Photo op.
He asked politely.
No, yeah, definitely. I just thought it was funny. I was like, yes, smile.
Leon along the byline. They pull back. That might have been off of a Fusion foot. They say no, it is a goal kick. U13 girls coming up at 11:10. U14 boys at 12:50. U14 girls at 2:40. Those are our 5 games today. We don't necessarily know the participants yet for those final 3 games, but it is U19 boys in the second one. Rudbeckianska from Sweden and Fusion from Plymouth. Jamison Burgess, number 3, stepping up here for Urban Venture. Becerra looking for some help. And taken away by Fritz Kramer. Fusion still undefeated in this tournament unless they have a major meltdown here in the final couple minutes. Be 3-0-2. With the win here today, Urban Venture would drop to 2-2-1. Throw in here from Chandler Merrick. Fusion sees out the final 90 seconds here. See if they go for one more offensive opportunity. There's a blast. Came from Melquist. Well high and wide and onto the walkway. Towards one of the many National Sports Center campus buildings here, and of course the stadium behind us, the former home of what is now Minnesota United. Takeaway by Barica, and foul called against him. Urban Venture with Arroyo on this right wing. Nice step over. And Merrick will clear. Unable to bring it in was Gavin Peterson, and one last substitution. Looks like it's not going to be granted here as the official just wants everyone to play on. There is the substitute who may not get the chance to come on the far side of the field. Down to the final 10 seconds by our watch. That's unofficial, but keep an eye on the referee in the middle. Royal, one last chance for the deep cross, comes in low. Merrick will clear, and there is the final whistle. Well, a comprehensive effort for Fusion. And the 2 goals from Michael Barica, one in the first half, one in the second, and they improved to 3-0-2. Here in this first game in our Sunday session. We will step aside for just a second. We come back, Blythe will be on the sidelines with a couple more Fusion players. They win it 2-0. Game number 1 here on North Metro TV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
A happy bunch for Fusion SC. On the far side of the field, Michael Barica with the 2 goals. He thinks he should have had a hat trick in this one, but the third one called off. And of course, our Brazilian official has been the star of the show this weekend and did a nice job with this game here in this 9 o'clock game. Did a fantastic job controlling things out there. And we are going to send it across to Blythe Whaley here in just a second. Still getting ready with a couple of the players on the far side of the field. As you can see, the official still meeting his ever-growing fan club here at the USA Cup. Not quite the dog days yet, but here we are in the morning. Still pretty warm out here as we take a look at some of the highlights from this first game. Defensive work done by Urban Venture in the first half. That was one of the biggest plays made by Adrian Andrade. But here's the goal, first of 2 for Barica. Long cross laid across by Parker Voida. A left foot finish. Then in the second half, first it was some of the goaltending work done by Carlos Luis. He was able to deny Charlie Kasmer there. And here is goal number 2. This was just after Barica had one called off, but another nice finish off the feed from Voida once again. And that's what would make the difference today for Fusion SC. As they win this one 2-0. And you get a look at Voida. We talked to him at halftime as we did Michael Barica. And Blythe Whaley standing by on the far sidelines with a couple more players from Fusion. Blythe, take it away.
And we are here with a couple from the Victory Squad. We have right here beside me Charles Casimir, and we have Jacob Fisher. So really fun to talk with you guys. I know this experience at the USA Cup. Let's first get into, getting this victory here, a 2-0 win to kind of wrap out this tournament. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. Like the whole team put in full effort today. I know we're all really sore and tired from waking up early playing the other games, but we really pulled through today and it felt great.
What are you looking forward to doing now that you get some time to rest, relax, maybe hopefully get some air conditioning?
Yeah, I think the boys are just going to go eat something light and then get ready for this championship game later on today.
Yeah, so for you too, I guess that last thing is, how are you feeling? Do you have any injuries, anything nagging, or are you feeling good to now go on?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think everyone's a little bit sore as always, but we're going to pull through and really give it our all in this championship game.
That's awesome. Well, stay excited. This is a fun one here, getting the victory.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. We'll go over to you, Jacob. So let's talk about a little bit of your game today.
Okay.
How do you feel like everything went? Was there something that you want to take from this game and look to do in the next one here?
Yeah, I thought the entire team was just connected today, and the energy was just there. It was a great team to play against, and we just did really well together. So that's what's up.
How about the fans? Did you like hearing the noisemakers that we had out here? It kind of added to the excitement, didn't it?
It was definitely weird because when we scored, they cheered for us. So it's kind of odd, but it's whatever, I guess.
You got to like it. An exciting one here, bright and early, but I'll let you rest up with your team. Thanks so much, Jacob. We'll send it back to you, Charlie. This has been a fun victory, 2-0. The Fusion get this one.
Thank you, Blythe. And like she said, and like they said, they've got a championship game this afternoon to get ready for, so they'll get in the shade as much as they can. They'll get indoors and get something to eat. So they will have one more to go for it all here. Championship of this weekend tournament. We're going to get set for game 2 here. We'll see Fusion select 2000 and Rud Bekianska out of Sweden in our next one as well. So that'll wrap it up for game number 1. Stay tuned for game number 2. U19s are coming your way here on North Metro TV from the USA Cup 2019.